And now, for a clip that is completely out of context.
Sick, Peggy, listen, in the entrance of full disclosure, I may have made out with your niece. Put the gun down. Hold on. Okay, I didn't know. She didn't tell me. All right, and she knew who I was.
No.
Really, this is hurtful. You need to talk to your niece.
When she gets old enough. I guess we get into episode 3 of Loki, right?
Right.
What'd you think of the episode?
I thought it was pretty interesting. I like the female Loki, Sylvia. I like the whole dynamic they had. I think the two of them talking on that train is probably some of the best back and forth in the series yet. Seeing them kind of go into their own backstories and kind of comparing their history is pretty cool. And you know, Tom Hiddleston, of course, he's knocking it out the park. He's got the perfect reactions. You feel his emotions when this one is talking about, oh, I knew I was adopted and all that. And he was like, what? You knew?
You knew? Yeah. Well, I mean, we don't know how it went into her world, right? Because it was like, we saw how Loki figured out he was adopted. It was he found him after a war, Odin found him after a war, and it's like, well, I'm going to kill his baby and bring him back home and use him as a figure to unite two realms. That was the whole idea of bringing Loki into Asgard, right?
Right.
So, like, that, he was supposed to be a symbol of, like, ironically, of unity. And he's more of a symbol of being selfish, looking out for your own good. Yeah, I agree with the whole sentiment. The female Loki's doing a good job. I feel like their banter back and forth kind of goes well with each other. She's holding her own.
She holds her own in those action scenes too.
They all. Yeah. I mean, well, all Lokis, I fear, are fighters. They grew up fighting, so in the royal family. So for me, it should be customary. I did find it interesting because it's narrative that I was thinking of, and it was the whole Time Bureau. Is that what they're called?
Time Variant
Bureau.
Yeah, it's something.
Okay, so this has been bugging me for a while. I couldn't put my finger on it until like later on last week when I'm like, who says this Time Bureau is good? Like, they're made up of variants, we just found out, and I knew something off with these variants because of like the whole jet ski situation. Remember with
right.
What's his name?
Mobius.
And now with the whole fish, like, these variants don't have memories of their past lives. They're taken from whatever time stream they're a part of and made to be these time cops, with no memory, with these little memories of their past lives. Now, my whole thing is, maybe, like, who puts this bureau in charge? Like, who says these guys are good guys? I've always think that they're probably trying to maintain this quote-unquote timeline because they get stay in power. If you can control this timeline, would you allow a timeline to change and you lose power? Hell no. You sit there and say, no, that timeline's not working. Let's do that one. Wait, we're gonna be in power. Yeah. That's the one I want. So for me, I feel like we're seeing Loki trying to stick it to the man in a sense. Like, the female Loki started to stick it to the man, right. And this is all gonna lead into, which I think, into Doctor Strange and the Multiverse Madness. That's the reason why, because I remember not the last episode, the previous episode, when female Loki, Sylvie, is it Sylvie, right?
Sylvia, yeah.
Sylvia, when she
or is it Sylvie? No, Sylvia.
There you go.
One of them.
When she sent those the restarts,
right,
and started branching out, I feel like that started the whole new multiverse thing.
Could be. It's going to be interesting when because there's only 6 episodes.
6 episodes.
So whatever damage they do to the timeline clearly is not going to be fixed by the end of the series.
That's the reason why I'm like, well, this could lead into the multiverse.
Yeah, that pretty much has to.
I mean, well, listen, they can clean up any storyline they want. They're the one who write. Like the last storyline, this was like kind of a filler episode. It wasn't really high end like content with the first couple ones. This one's more, hey, we'll just give you quick some backstory of Sylvia.
Yeah, there's a lot of exposition.
Yeah, I mean, and then you have them. What was the planet they're stuck on? Lumet. Lumet 1.
Yeah, I don't remember how to pronounce it.
Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce it either. But I mean, they're trapped on this planet. It's about to explode with no way out. But we already know they're gonna figure out a way out.
Right.
Just how, So, and my guess is they got found by the Variant Bureau, and they get taken back. So, right now I'm liking where it goes. Loki. Think they've done a good job. I'm trying to figure out, do I like it better than WandaVision or Falcon yet? It's up there. It's good. It's good different. Like each one of those shows gave me some content that I wasn't expecting, and except for Winter Soldier, I kind of expected a lot of that, but in a good way. So I'm trying to. I'm really interested in how they kind of round out those last 2 episodes. So
do you think then, since all these guys that are with the TVA are variants who don't remember their past, that Mobius is really some like pro jet skier, and that's why he's obsessed with jet skis?
Well, yeah, I feel like something in his previous life led to jet ski, where he was supposed to maybe die on a jet ski or something like that, or he was involved. Maybe he was a racer on jet skis, whatever. It's a memory from his previous life where he became a variant, and I might, and that's the reason why you can erase so much, but there's still going to be memories of a past life, which they explain away. It's sort of similar to what they did with, I'm not sure if you ever watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I didn't finish the series,
okay.
but I was a good maybe 4 seasons in before I kind of stopped following.
Agent Coulson, he had something similar too, where it was like a more memory. White,
oh yeah.
Where he had these fake memories of going on, and thought he was on like an island.
That was Tahiti, right?
Tahiti, yeah, exactly. I feel like that's what they're going through, and it's similar in a parallel world where it's like they get wiped, but you can't erase everything. It's like anything you delete, there's still remnants of it somewhere.
Right.
And at certain times, it gets pulled back. It gets pulled back. Because if you think about it, what the hell do these guys do on their free time? All they do is work. And they're very extreme about it too.
Just like throw stones at infinity stones at each other.
It's like you guys. So you guys are made just to hold time, and you do this 24/7 all day long. I mean, you don't know if you don't have a life. Like you don't do nothing. Like and to me, like you have no wants, no needs. Like you are something. You just aren't just keeping it to time. Unless someone's forcing you.
Do they work in shifts, or are they just
I don't know.
constantly
I don't know.
there?
Do they sleep? Did you sleep? Right? I mean, the dude didn't know what a fish was. Hell, you mean to tell me they came across a fish? Even a fish that was part man. I mean, you're attached to so many different multiverses. You never came across a fish. You don't remember? I mean, it says the reason that there's something afoot with this whole time bureau thing.
So here's a question: since they, in one of those scenes where Loki and Sylvia are talking, they pretty much confirm that Loki is bisexual.
Yeah. Well, asexual.
Or asexual, right? What do you feel about that reveal? Do you feel like it was shoehorned in, or did it feel natural?
No, in comic books, he was like that.
Right.
And for me, it's like I think we need to take ourselves out of the world of where all humans are like. All humans are like aliens or like other beings, and we like it's man, female. You know what I'm saying? And they procreate and they have the same wants and needs as us. I just feel like they're just making things just more open. You know, like hey, why do we need to almost like explain this situation? Like, why can't it just be open ended? You know, why can't he just be attracted to people? You know, not just a gender or whatever. Like, maybe it's gender fluid. You know, like we don't need to like he's just attracted to a people, you know, to a person than that sex. So for me, I feel like it goes, yes, conveniently enough, it kind of ties into today's world, but that the character's always been that way.
Right.
You know, like, and I feel like this is the way it should always have worked anyway to begin with. Like we keep on assuming that everyone thinks like us, breathes like us, has the same wants like us. No, these are foreign beings that operate differently. They should operate differently. So.
I'm always interested in seeing the reactions to different comment sections, because you get your trolls in there and you're like, oh, why do they have to make him this way? Like, oh, this is just different times and people are getting soft and they have to have it this way, and they have their own agendas. It's like, no, man, like, no, like you said, the character was always like that from the jump, so it fits with his background. And even if it wasn't in his background, they just added it to the sound. So what?
What is the problem with it? Like, how does it make you affect you the character any differently? It doesn't. It doesn't. Because this character isn't about like getting along with other characters anyways. It's about what other stuff is going on. Yeah. In fact, his sexuality has no bearing on the overall arc of the show, and the fact that people are to stick to it or have a stickler to it, you're just looking for something. To me, you're just looking for something. It was like, if you actually didn't know the content, you have no issue with it, because as you just said and I said, it's part of actually his real story. Yeah. You know, like the fact is, and it's like when people talk about maybe the black man and stuff like that. That stuff has existed. It's that you stop doing your research at where you wanted to, and not realizing that there was more after these characters that came into development. And the fact is that since you don't do the research, you become all up in arms thinking people are doing or becoming more woke, when it's like, no, this stuff had already been there. We're just bringing it to the forefront now. Yeah. It's still more mainstream. Yeah. And that's all it is. Why not have more things mainstream? You have listen, the movie world, the TV world, they're running out of fucking ideas. They really are. Let's be real. They're doing remakes and taking books. So if all these characters have side stories and alternate universes, guess what they have? More stories to tell. Mm-hmm. And that means people get to keep their jobs if they're done right.
Get more material.
Some people, Zack Snyder. But, it's just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't know material, keep your mouth shut, in my opinion. Just let it go then, because you can't sit there and get all alarmed, and then when you find out after the fact that this always existed, you just didn't know it. You didn't know it existed. Well, then you sound like an idiot. Yeah,
and you shouldn't be getting offended. I'm gonna look at the camera for this. You shouldn't be getting offended over the sexuality of a fictional character on a TV show. You shouldn't be getting offended over the sexuality of anybody, because it doesn't affect you. Somebody wants to live their life, live their truth. Good for them. I'm here for it. Loki is what he is, and I'm here for it. Yeah, and more power to him. I kind of feel like it almost feels like a win for people of that background, because it's like there's somebody else. There's a major character who lives a similar lifestyle to them. That's got to make you feel good, right? Like,
I think representation is always necessary. I don't know if about to win, because. Win for me means there's actually changes happen.
Yeah, true.
Like for me, it's just like, no, we're just bringing it to light, because it's always been known. But the issue with some of these characters that we don't, their backgrorounds aren't known unless it's like something that's common. Like we know Superman because he looks like your normal heterosexual male, and same thing Captain America. With these offshoots that have like different backgrounds that are more just like we'll call controversial. They try to, I guess, make it less known just so to keep the haters at bay. The only thing they're doing is like, no, we're going to make it known. We're not going to sit there pity pat around it. We had, Miss Marvel, she's LGBTQ, community, and we're not going to. I like the fact that we're not pussyfooting around these ideas anymore. We're saying, no, this is part of the world. Yeah. People are just used to it being more under the covers in the closet, whatever you want to say,
like a taboo sort of thing. Yeah,
we'll have the assumptions. We'll never talk about it because we don't want to piss off people. oh, it's just heterosexual. Now it's like, no. The world is different. Like, why are we sitting there predicating to people who want it their way?
Yeah, the world is evolving.
Yeah,
it is.
It's always been there. It's just like, this is not new. These issues have always existed. Well, I wouldn't say issues. Like, these feelings of like sexuality has always existed, but it became not acceptable for social standards for to be talked about. You know. And now we're trying to be more accepting.
Yeah.
We have a long ways to go, but being more accepting is part of what we need to do as people.
Yeah.
You know, and the fact is, when you get up in arms about a character, fictional character at that, you know, it kind of tells me where you're at as a person.
Yeah, it says more about yourself than anything else.
Exactly. You know, so it's Loki, to me so far, the whole Marvel and these these post shows have hit out the park. You know, they've done a good job of keep up the story and give you some content in between that will lead to the what ifs.
Right. I can't wait for the what if.
I feel like that's also going to play a role with Loki and what he did, like the what ifs. Now that they've done certain things, like I do think Loki may be the turning off point of these alternate realities that we got a little taste of. You know, they talked about briefly the Infinity Stones when we went back.
Right.
But we will see, I think, more of it. You know, because if you think about it, there were 2 Captain Americas at one time.
There were.
Right?
Yeah.
So what if we get more Captain America with Peggy Carter? You know, like, and what he did, because you have to imagine, if Captain America went back in time and lived out his life, he didn't just stay silent. He probably did some stuff. Just maybe under Captain America
Monica.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, Peggy Carter, the S.H.I.E.L.D. didn't exist, so Peggy Carter still was involved with S.H.I.E.L.D. So if she's dating this dude, if she's married to the dude who's Captain America, and I find it hard to believe no one knew. Like, hey, you look like Steve Rogers. Your husband looks like Steve Rogers. Pretty
sure I know that guy.
Hey, isn't that the face? Like,
ain't that you on the poster?
Yeah. So,
isn't it crazy? Steve Rogers, after all the resetting, bring the stones back, went back into time, lived a full life with Peggy Carter. Peggy Carter essentially knows the next 70 plus years of the future and just sits on it. Like, she's just sitting there chilling and just watching everything unfold.
Well, we're assuming he tells her the truth, the full truth. You're assuming he may just pretend and say, hey, we don't know what he told her.
Do you think he goes and lives his life with her and doesn't tell her everything he knows?
I think that I think no, because by telling her he creates a new timeline.
So
that's the whole thing. Like, to me, it's like,
so Loki's invasion of New York happens, right?
Yeah.
And all these motherfuckers are coming through the sky and killing people, and she's like, oh my god, and Rogers is like, chill.
Yeah, but at that point he's very old. At that point he's really old.
Yeah.
They're both old.
Yeah.
So what are they gonna do? Nothing.
But I'm saying he's like, no, chill. Like, it's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Just turn the TV on. It's fine.
At that time, she's probably stuck in bed, halfway dead, anyway. Like, she was in the bed for the whole entire time when he was.
I don't think she was bedridden yet.
Yeah, I think she was at that point. But I mean, he already knows the outcome, so why would he get involved?
I'm not saying he should have got involved. I just think it's a funny situation that all this madness is happening in the world, and Rogers knows.
But he also knows the outcome. So
he knows the outcome.
So he doesn't have anything to worry about.
But he doesn't tell Peggy, and Peggy's saying like, "Oh my god, what like?"
Well, because the thing is, by telling Peggy, you risk that timeline being changed. Now, remember, the whole point of him going back into time was put the stones in the place they need to be to not affect the time. So to tell someone the truth about their future and what goes on, there is no way that's going to change things.
But that's not necessarily her future.
It's the future.
And shouldn't there be enough trust? Shouldn't Peggy Carter have enough trust to be like I can tell you this and I know you're not going to fuck everything up?
But you don't know that. Unintentionally, people fuck things up all the time.
Yeah.
Like,
wouldn't Rogers just going back and living his life in the past like that?
It already. So why further it? Is my whole point. You're risking a lot just going back.
Where was the time variance authority then? Why didn't they come and get Steve Rogers?
That's my whole point. Apparently it's supposed to happen. or in their world to then threaten them, and having Steve Rogers be all about and Peggy keeps them
that's such
in power.
That's such a quick and simple cop out to why didn't this happen then if shit is like this. We're like, oh, that was supposed to happen.
Yeah,
next.
well,
like,
no, it's not supposed to happen.
It never even comes to it. It's like, no, do you want to explain that further?
But how do you know getting involved does not change it, make it worse? Right? Like, you don't know. If I already know the outcome is that we win and everything's all hunky-dory, if I get involved, what if I change that and it doesn't get all hunky-dory? It's something else I have to think about.
Man.
Right?
I mean, you're right. We don't know.
We don't know if the outcome is going to be positive at the end of the day if you get involved. So why not, if the outcome without us getting involved is going to be positive, well, keeping it that way ensures it being good. Me getting involved can fuck up a lot of things and end up being bad.
I think if I'm Steve Rogers and I see the sky opening up and shit coming out, if I haven't told Peggy what's gonna happen,
I don't see why.
Don't just hear me out. If I haven't,
you try to get another conversation that I don't want to get into.
No, I'm just saying if he hasn't told her everything and he's just sitting there and the shit is happening, they got it on the news and all this shit is happening.
You do not need to tell your spouse all the information. Okay, it's not needed.
I'm just saying, in this situation, it'd be funny to fuck with her and be like, I don't remember this happening. Oh shit!
By the in your timeline, by the time this happens, she's already retired and bedridden. So what's she gonna do, bro?
No, Peggy Carter dies in what? Infinity War?
No, before that, Civil War.
Civil War. Yeah, Civil War is still a good 5-6 years after.
Dude, do you think
the first Avengers?
So 5 year younger Peggy Carter is going to do what during the first Avengers?
I mean, she's still
she's gonna keep her butt home because she's old.
I'm not saying she's jumping out to fight. I'm just saying.
What's she gonna do? What is she gonna do?
I don't know. Get in the car and drive off or something.
Get in the car and drive off to where? Like
anywhere.
What are you talking about? Like, bro, the
whole point
is this is why you don't.
I'm just saying it's a funny dynamic.
No, it's not funny dynamic. It's dangerous because see, people like you is the reason why travel cannot happen because you will fuck it up for everyone else. I would fuck with people so bad if I knew. I would just use that information to fuck with people. See, I go gamble real quick, make sure I got a nice little nest egg. Put it in some security.
Isn't that automatic, by the way? Like, if you are going to do anything time travel or so related, you automatically write down a set of winning numbers from any given date. I see, and just put it in your pocket.
I think that, but then people see. I wouldn't do numbers. I'd probably gamble because it's easier. Like who
wins the World Series and
like that type of stuff, or put it in stocks. Long term stocks that they're pennies now, and they're like, oh shit. Couple of years,
get in on like Apple before they blew up.
Exactly, that's what you do. You hide your money in different places. Like to sit there and put it on lottery, you want to get like a third of it anyways, and you have to tell people have to find out.
you go back 10 years and tell your 10-year younger self, like, yo, GameStop, hear me out, GameStop.
Just for that week, and get out before Robin cut you off, okay? But I mean, that's what you do. Yes. We're on the same page. You know what? The question you should be asking yourself is: does he tell Peggy that he makes out with her niece, or? That's
a good question. Yeah, that's a good question.
In fact, that's what you want. That's what you need to tell her. So, does it matter that I met with your niece before I got here? But because you were already dead, though.
That's a whole what if episode on its own.
I mean, it's not creepy, right? She doesn't even exist in this timeline.
So, Peggy, listen. In the entrance of full disclosure, I may have made out with your niece. Put the gun down.Hold on. Okay, I didn't know because she didn't tell me. All right, and she knew who I was. No. Really, this is hurtful. You need to talk to your niece.
But she's old enough. But that's creepy. That's the creepiness because. She gets born, and he's gonna be a grown-ass man, knowing that he's gonna find this girl attractive as she gets older. Think about it, right? I met this girl, and she gets born. Like, man, that's Sharon. I ended up making out with that girl in about 25 years. Okay, it was kind of like Woody Allen type of stuff. So are you pining after this old this young girl that you made out with before, or you're gonna maybe hold back finally.
Is that what you're into? Is that what you're into?
I don't know. I mean, that's something you now. Do you tell Sharon about that? No. I think you do. Not really.
No. You probably keep that one to yourself.
Yeah, definitely to yourself.